Hey everybody, how's it going? Today's video, let's do a little work to the 394 piston. What I want to do really is open up the windows because of course the air on a saw like this, a lot of it comes under and out through the windows and into the lower transfers. So being that a chainsaw is nothing more than an air pump, any engine is an internal combustion engine, my theory is to make it full of more air. And again, like I always say, some guys don't like big lower transfers. I do. Ford versus Chevy, right? So today's video, I'm going to take this. Let's weigh this piston and just kind of see where we're starting off. And then I'm going to go in with my grinder and open up these windows. I'll do kind of a step-by-step and show you guys my progress as I go. First things first, let's hit the scale and see how much this piston weighs. I bet you it's heavy compared to the other pistons we've weighed on this channel.
She cuts, eh?
Grab my gram scale here. Let's see what we got. This is just the piston, no ring, no wrist pin. 116 grams. So this thing's pretty heavy. Every piston that I put in a saw, I go around, I break the edges, the corners. Okay, these are really sharp. I like to get rid of those. Break all these edges. These edges are very sharp. Even on a super nice piston like this Meteor piston, I still like to do a little cleanup, a little dress work. The idea is sharp edges can cause stress risers and can cause the piston to fail. So again, I'll go all the way around the edge here and just clean this up. Now, what I want to do here, I'm just going to grab my screwdriver, is go in and widen these windows. I'll probably cut into here some, little bit off the bottoms here, and then I'll go in and cut these sides out a little bit, okay? Now, you can't go too far though, that's the problem. So you probably don't want to go too far this way, because what'll happen is you can get into your intake side and your exhaust port, right? You can get into either of those ports and just end up creating trouble for yourself. So a couple ways you can measure this. Put the arrow to the front. Okay, you can make your marks. You guys can see the marks there. That's how much I widen the piston. I'll put the light on for you guys. Okay, see that? So I still left about 100 thousandths for overlap. So if I grind this any more out this way, I could end up with a piston that's not sealing in the bore. So, and same thing on the intake side. If we flip this around and slide this into the intake side, let's have a look at our piston skirt and see where we can go. And same thing, there's about 100 thousandths on either side. So I may not want to widen it on the outside at all. I'll do all my work to the insides. You can only widen it as far as the piston will let you. So, and again, you don't want to take too much of this off. Okay. You don't want to take too much off of here because this could just break. You don't want the top of the piston breaking off. That can happen. Same thing with the bottom here. You don't want to go too far. So use your own judgment and decide. A lot of times what I do, I'll go in here and I'll cut this corner out, kind of 45 it, so that when the air's coming through here, it hits here and ends up going across that 45 and into the transfers. So either way, if you look at this thing right now, arrow forward, not that it really matters, this piston's the same both ways. Even if I don't make these any bigger, okay, the windows are from here to there. So if you look, the windows go to about out to here, you know, and out to there. There's a lot of window being blocked by the piston. Okay, so, and again, this is just a play saw. These things are super reliable. 394s are a saw that they just run and run and run. They were great, reliable, super powerful logging saws. There's nothing wrong with them stock. And a lot of it is because there's a lot of extra material. So if I look, I can't open it as much on this side as I can on this side. So let's start with the piston and see where we get. I'll do one side and then I'll show you guys the difference. Okay, I want you guys to look at the inside. First thing I'm going to do is get rid of all this stuff. Okay, I'm going to flow the inside. I never touch the top, but I will go all the way into about here. Okay, and do work to that. So I want you guys to look at that first. I'll start there, and then I'll jump back in and show you guys the difference. Okay, and here's one side. This literally took about 2 minutes. Just go in there. Okay, and smoothing it out. Here's the other side. Stock. Okay, so you're not taking much out, you're just smoothing it. So here's our new windows that I've cut. Notice you can see the outline of the old window. I wonder if this will focus on that. There you go. Okay, so there's the difference in the shape. I've cut most of the material out right here. Okay, and right here. And now if you look on the inside, it comes through here. Now I'm going to cut this corner down a little bit more and blend it, but you understand, I don't want it to hop over there. I want it more to go in like this side is, where here's the stock. Oh, and I've already blended that corner of the stock one. Here, this one. Okay, you go in there, and there's a 90-degree turn. Anytime air has to go around a 90, it slows down. Okay, so that's kind of the idea behind this. Probably haven't lost much in the way of weight yet. We've lost 3 grams, so, you know, we should be 6 grams lighter probably when I'm done this. So now I'm going to go in, do the other side. I've already done the bottom here. I've gotten rid of the casting seams. Okay, I'll go in and just literally get rid of all the sharp edges all the way around. So take a good look at the piston right now. Okay. And I'll hit you guys back up when I'm completely done, and then we'll weigh it. And here's our finished piston on scale again. We only cut another gram or 2 off of the weight. Again, this isn't the most accurate, even though it's called the AccuChef, this isn't the most accurate scale, but that's where we're left with. So we lost 4 grams of piston weight. People have asked me, how do you take down the rough edges? Well, you can actually go old school and use a file. I use a file and then 600 grit sandpaper and or red Scotch-Brite, and you just go around the edge of it and clean it up. Feel it. Let your fingers be your guide. This thing feels slippery now. And you can just go in there. And don't worry if you scratch up the side a little bit. That'll go away when the saw breaks in. And I don't worry about stuff like that. It's just a chainsaw, right? If it runs good and the piston's not full of huge gouges, it's a good saw. As long as it's reliable. Anyways, that kind of gives you guys the idea. There's inside. So I got rid of all those ridges. Let's compare it to a stock piston. There's how it looks stock. Okay. think I'm going to go in here and break these edges a little bit more. I usually do work and then I'll put the saw down or put whatever I ground on down for a day. Then I'll look at it the next day with a fresh, with a fresh set of eyes. But there you go. That's how it looks. Notice the difference when the piston is going through there. Okay, it tapers in. I just grind that out basically. Okay, and again, there's a little hump there. We can get rid of that. It really, those little imperfections don't matter. But as you guys can see, this is a 395 piston, but same deal. Okay, quite a bit wider, more room, and this one may even be lighter because this is actually a pop-up. Okay, this Highway 395 piston is 105 stock. Now, if I wanted to use this, I would have cut this pop-up off. It'd be even lighter, but I really like the looks and shape of this Meteor piston. I've had good luck with these over the years, and it fits really, really nice in this bore, okay? It's got just a little bit of movement. Can you hear that? So that's why I went with this. I just thought it was the right fit. So that pretty much does it for what we're doing today. Now, in the next video, I will take this piston. Oh, and another thing I forgot to mention, these corners, okay? Round them off with a file. Just go in there and round them off, and you should be good to go. See that? I've blended and smoothed all that. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just do what you think will help the piston. You'll end up losing some weight, and you'll also end up gaining some flow. So it's all winning. This is, people ask me about free power. Well, porting's free once you have the tools. And once you have the tools and you've done, you've exercised your ability to do a base gasket delete and a muffler mod. Well, once you start porting and you start playing with the timing numbers, then you wonder, well, where is there more power? Well, maybe the more power is all the other little things you can do, like doing work to the piston. Now, by no means is this gonna like make this saw the difference, 5 more horsepower. No. Friends, when you do all these little things, maybe adjust your timing a little bit, maybe get the compression just right, get your intake and exhaust shaped the right way. All those little things, you might get 1% here, 1% there, 2% there. And, and you start stacking those things together, and that's the difference between a good saw and a great saw. And none of these things do anything to how the saw runs starting or any of that. Lightening the piston, it really helps in the cut, I find. You can feel it. It's all these little mods we do, friends. Talking about dynos and that, maybe one day, yeah, I'd love to have a chainsaw dyno, but I find a lot of this stuff, you can't see it, you can't do anything with it other than you feel it in the cut. And when you flow a piston like this, it seems to make the saw just a little bit angrier. Whether that equates to dyno numbers, probably not, but just how the saw makes its power. At least that's been my experience. Okay, so in the next video, we're going to cut the transfers. We're going to make them about as wide as these. I want them a little bit narrower because, again, I don't want the edge of this rubbing on the edge of the transfer. That's not going to be good for the piston in the long run. So, there you guys go. Lightened 394 piston. And again, 113, 112. There's a pop-up, so we got another, 6. The little bit that's cut off this, there's another 6 grams of weight. You can feel the difference. You can actually feel it in your hand. This one's lighter than this one. But for our purposes, this is what I wanted. Okay, I hope that helped you guys do your piston mods. I've done a few others on the channel, nothing on a saw this size. And I just thought I would let you guys see that. Okay, another day, another step closer to having a ported 394. My bench is messy, but you guys that have been around here know I generally have a messy bench, then I clean it up, then it gets messy again. But I feel like we're making some good headway on this saw. And the next step will be transfers, then do our final prep and cleanup. I actually wash these in hot soapy water a couple times, and then run my finger over any edge on the cylinder to see, can I feel anything rough? My exhaust port feels really good right now, and intake is smooth like glass, so I think we're good. Once I cut the transfers, it'll be the same thing. Now, the transfers aren't as crucial as the intake and exhaust, but I'll usually bring this into the house, wash it, let it dry for a day, and then the next day I'll run a paper towel in it. If any black comes off or any discoloration on that paper towel, I'll wash it again, and I'll just keep doing that until it's perfect. And in between washing it, I'll take my fingers and just, feel what the ports feel like. If they feel sharp, you're probably going to have a piston that gets wrecked or has a lot of scratches on it. One more thing for those of you that are here to the end, because a lot of times the good stuff is at the end when I'm just rattling stuff off, people tell me. One thing I've noticed, friends, when you hone a cylinder, this one's been honed and I'll probably hit it again. When you hone a cylinder, you tend to get really fine little microscopic scratches on your piston when it's breaking in. I've noticed that. Don't know why it does that. I think it's because the honing puts a rough surface on the cylinder. But I've noticed that on a lot of saws. When you do hone them, you end up with these fine little rough scratches. I think that's just the way they bed in with a hone. Most of them do that. If you don't hone it, I never see that pattern on a piston. So just to make you guys aware, I like to share the things I notice. But again, I've never had a saw, scratch itself to death after honing. So I think it's just how they bed in. Anyhow, friends, I'm really happy to be hanging out in the saw shop. I got some yard work to do, so I'm going to go outside and do that. But hope you guys learned something in today's video. You know what to do, and thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Take her easy. Later.